football on Adelphia Cable Channel 2. This, the Division III regional final from Ohio University. The past year's been an emotional roller coaster for the Garaway Pirate boys basketball program under Coach Scott Bardall. Almost a year ago to the day, the Pirates were on the verge of going to the state tournament as participants for the first time in school history, but lost in the closing minutes to Eastern Brown 59-54 on this floor at the regional final. The 2002-2003 season began with an exciting matchup at West Holmes that resulted in Tyler Renner breaking the Pirate career scoring record, putting in 40 points. But after 5 overtimes, Garaway suffered a tough loss that season opener, 76-74. From there, the Garaway Cagers put together another stellar regular season, stringing together 19 victories and extending an IVC unbeaten record to 35 games and 2 back-to-back IVC unblemished titles and holding 9 opponents to less than 30 points. But tarnishing those highlights, on January 27th, Garaway lost a great friend and assistant coach in Glenn Lorenz, who passed away suddenly, leaving a void in the basketball family. And late in the season, Brian Lash was hurt seriously in a snowboarding accident that left him doubtful to walk on the court again in 2003. What the Pirates have done since is documented well. They were voted the top Division III team in the state by sports writers and broadcasters, and they've strung together another 5 wins through tournaments, battling very tough teams in district and regional play, Bel Air, Fort Fry, most recently Southeastern, never knowing the sure outcomes of those games until the final seconds. All of that, as it turns out, leads us back here. A full circle a year later, and the Pirates stand ready to try again to fulfill the dream of thousands of young men who take to the hardwood each season. This game for a state tournament trip to play in Columbus as Garaway, back on the top of the coaster ride, meets Marion Pleasant here at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. And take note, Brian Lash is back in warm-ups on the bench. Win or lose this ride, and the ticket price to get here will be embedded in players, coaches, and fans' minds for a lifetime. The players then, the Pirates now 24-1. Their opponents, the Spartans of Marion Pleasant, 23-2. I'm Tim Stavenis along with Roger Dominic and Tim Torelli at Ohio University. And Roger, a look at the opponent, the Spartans from Marion Pleasant. We've heard about Garaway. Let's hear about the other team.
Yeah, Tim, Marion Pleasant comes in on the season at 23-2, having an outstanding year. Regional semifinals, they defeated Chesapeake for the second time this year. They beat them second game of the year, and they are playing extremely good basketball right now. And the man we need to keep an eye on, number 32, Jordan Hilscher, who is an outstanding basketball player, 6'6", and against Chesapeake, he was a major force. They've also got excellent guard play out of Jake Bennett, who is a senior as well, who has provided them with great leadership and scoring at 10 a game. So a team with a guard and a post player that kind of match up very well with this Garaway Pirate Ball Club.
Marion Pleasant hasn't played for a state berth in a long time, but they were there and may be known to many of you in Tuscarawas County as when they went in 1973, they won the state championship, beating Charlie Huggins' Indian Valley South Rebels in a game that featured Coach Kirk Ballinger from this team's brother on that squad, and that was a time ago. So they've been there 3 times. Garaway looking for their first trip. We'll be back in Athens in a moment. Pre-game at Ohio University, and again it's Marion Pleasant and the Garaway Pirates, 24-1 and 23-2. The Pirates with just the 1 loss to West Holmes we mentioned, and we will have the opening lineups when we return in a moment. Good crowd on hand at the Convocation Center in Athens, and many of them, Roger, from Tuscarawas County, as there were many in the semifinal stands. There are now a few more even now at the finals.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Tim, I came down and watched the first game, the Division II game, which Beechcroft beat East Liverpool, and hardly anybody here for that game. And boy, this one here, Garaway has brought a drove down with them.
As far as the strategies, Garaway going to be going up against some big guys again, as Marion Pleasant has Abe Sparling and Jordan Hilscher. Hilscher 6'6", Sparling 6'6". They put in a double dunk type of show to really, put the exclamation point on their win over Chesapeake in the semifinals. However, in reading some of the press, Sparling evidently tried a dunk in the game before that against River Local and hung on the rim, didn't make the dunk, didn't cost him the game, but it was a technical foul. So those things can turn the wrong direction. But two big men, built well, they're going to have to battle inside against Regulon Renner.
Yeah, the most athletic of the big men that Garaway has seen so far on the tournament trail. Not as big as what Agnew or what the gentleman from Southeastern was, Skaggs, but definitely very athletic.
Starting lineup for the Garaway Pirates. Nathan Miller, 4-point average, a couple of big threes in the fourth quarter in his last outing. Brian Gerber, 6-foot junior, 11 points a game. John Regula fouled out of the semifinal game but had 9 points and was active when he was in there, 13 a game. Tyler Renner, 20 points a game, Eastern District Player of the Year in his division, 1,615, holds the career scoring title at Garaway, and Ari Yoder rounds it out, 6'1", senior, 3 points a game. As you see the Garaway Pirates under Coach Scott Bardaw, also Coach of the Year in his district, as we now have Jake Bennett for the Spartans, 6-foot senior, 5 points a game. Kyle Ridge, outstanding guard play, what you will see from him, 5'11" senior, 12 points a game, number 14. Paul Cusio is 6'1", and you heard the Coos perhaps, 11 points a game, 5 rebounds. Jordan Hilscher, 13 points a game, 8 rebounds, and Abe Sparling, 6'6", senior, 8 points a game, 6 rebounds for Coach Kirk Ballinger, who's a little bit in awe of the Garaway Pirates. He knows it'll take an outstanding effort for his team to win. He really, I think, gives a little bit of an edge to them, but of course he's not going to say that to his team out loud, as he may have said to us, but he knows they play a tough game, and it's going to take perfection on his part and his team to beat them. Garaway, on the other hand, trying to get over this hump, trying to come back here now and play 4 quarters this year. They got it into the fourth quarter last year, just couldn't quite finish it.
I'm sure Scott Bardaw appreciates the kind words, but I'm sure he feels the same way I do. Be wary of the dog lying in the grass.
Absolutely. Not going to say anything that might tip your hand that you think you're going to get it. What a nice save on the tip by Hilscher, the big man.
And as we see, man-to-man out of Garaway right out of the chute.
Cusio, I told you about Ridge. Ridge had 10 points in the last outing. Missed shot, inside rebound. Missed by Cusio. Here comes Regula and the Pirates, and they spot Regula underneath, broken up inside.
One of the big matchups that we're going to have to keep an eye on tonight is going to be Tyler Renner handling and going up against somebody as athletic and as big as he is. He's been beaten on the big trees. Now he's going to have to move his feet tonight, see how he does it.
Regula tries to get to the baseline, can't do it. See if Renner can get any more looks in this game than he has in the last 3 tournament games. They've really had him bottled up. He's been playing good size against good size, and they have all dealt with him based on his numbers and his reputation.
And Sparling's got him early, and the thing you have to reiterate is his back is sore.
Left-handed bounce, passes up the easier shot, gives it to Regula, just misses the easy shot, and Bennett clears it. Again, this is for a trip to the state tournament, so we'll see how the nerves play out in the first couple of minutes.
And I think you're seeing a little bit, both teams miss some chippies early on. Going to take about 3-4 minutes for both of them to kind of get a feel and get their nerves settled down.
Marion Pleasant at 61 points a game, Garaway at 58. Defense give it to the Pirates at 32 over the 42 that the Spartans give up. Long shot by Ridge for 3, high off the iron with a second opportunity coming. Hilscher draws the first foul.
And we're seeing early on, Tim, already offensive rebounds from Marion Pleasant. We saw that give West Holmes problems last night in the Division 2 game, so keep an eye on that.
So Hilscher gets 2 shots. We'll bring numbers into play as we go along. As a team, though, 64% from the foul line for Marion Pleasant. We should tell you while we're throwing it out there, Garaway at 77%. Garaway, both sides of the shooting better. Renner gets the rebound on the second missed shot. 1-0. Spartans on the board first.
And no activity in the bullpen.
Not at all. Gerber, covered. Try to look inside, now needs some help. Miller, who struggled through the first half in the semifinal game, really put it together.
And he's somebody that Coach Ballinger's really concerned about, and you can see they're almost in straight denial on him.
Ari Yoder down the lane, isn't too active normally, forces it to the hoop, and that's an off man, can often make a difference in this type of game.
Well, a nice strong take we saw against Richmond-Dale Southeastern, how Garaway's guards kind of shied away from penetrating against that zone. Tonight we're seeing a lot more aggressive action on the penetration. Ari at 57% on the season from the line, ties the game at 1. Of course, basketball fever just starting to go up as far as the nationwide with the tournaments in college, as well as the boys action getting ready to go to state level next week. Yoder gives Garaway a 2-1 lead. Saw today too where Kent State got beat in the MAC final. Western Michigan, I believe, will
Central
Michigan.
Right. They were the number 1 seed. Kent too went as expected. It sometimes does not. Cusio almost challenged to take that shot. Now drives it into the lane. Here's the guard, Ridge. Trying to penetrate on the left side. Looks like they want to get it, and they have. Into Sparling. Misses. Renner the rebound away down court and just doesn't throw it long enough. Hilscher, as Regulo as the target. 2-1.
Well, you can see early on both teams very similar in their approaches.
Well, that was a forced shot, but Ridge doesn't draw the foul, but he gets it to drop, and it's 3-2.
Ridge very aggressive early on.
Miller to Regula. Renner is floating on the right side. Now to the high post. Gerber looks into him, deflected away. Pretty well covered back and front.
Yeah, Marion Pleasant, nice job defensively here. You can see the big men, Garaway's going to playing behind him, which used to be taboo in Coach Scott Bardall's book, but it's worked so well on the tournament trail this year. He's doing it this year. Now Marion Pleasant's choosing to play the same way in the low post.
Garaway rated 1 in the Associated Press, 11, number 11 for Marion Pleasant, one of the last teams of the ranked teams left. Renner had to throw it out, double teamed. He turns to his left. You know he works that way, and too strong, but there's Gerber. Got to get some of those rebounds in the game as well to win, and Garaway up 4-3.
Good to see your guards rebound. You like to see that early in the game.
About halfway through the first quarter from Athens as you watch it on Adelphia Channel 2. Last team we've got remaining as the Pirates try to move on. Hilscher thought about it. 6-6 from the three-point area. This is the guard for 3, Ridge. Pirates have a chance to run. Gerber ahead to the hoop. Fakes. Walks. Had the right idea.
Yeah, looked up and saw 6'6" Jordan Hilscher in front of him.
Seen that Hilscher moves very good for 6'6".
Yeah. Well, the dunk he had against Chesapeake was quite impressive as he went up through a crowd and took it down. So
they have a few of those plays where they lob it inside. Hilscher got a half a step on Regula, who picks up the foul at 3:34. First quarter, just 2 on Garaway. First one on Regula, 1 foul so far on Marion Pleasant.
We definitely don't want to see Regula in foul trouble again.
Cusio, would have been nice to have him the entire 8 minutes of the fourth quarter, but the Pirates got the job done. Hilscher threw it away from the action. A foul.
Yeah, I believe they're going to get Sparling on the moving screen.
The 6'6" Sparling. They also bring a 6'5" Nick Withrow on cue. into the game. Now, this is Edler coming in, but Withrow averages 6 points off the bench. He plays a lot, alternating with Sparling, as we understand it.
And actually the foul was on Bennett, and that's his second, so that's advantage Garaway early in this one.
4-3, Pirates by the single-point lead at 3:16 in the first quarter. Fanning in, first action for Garaway. And Nathan Miller as the three-guard offense we've seen often in the tournaments. Miller gets some room. Banks too strong. Renner against 3 white, red, and black jerseys. Can't get the rebound. Ridge goes where a lot of people can't. Good guard drive and foul.
Yeah, if they're going to run that open post offense against Garaway, they're going to have some problems because Garaway too good defensively to get burnt by that offense.
Score remains 4-3, low scoring here in the opening quarter. Hilscher against Renner, knocked away by his own man, I believe. It sure looked like it. Fanning, the Pirates move it down. So far Renner's had one pretty good shot inside. He could turn to the direction he likes to. Regula has not had any opportunities. Gerber one in close and made it. Here's Renner. Blocked. Garaway fans think there was more than basketball.
I'm going to tell you what, that ain't happened very often this year, that's for sure.
Tyler has been seeing some defense. Bel Air game he saw some. And of course he's seen a lot of attention, as we mentioned. Edler, and then in the corner. Rims in and out. Cusio, neither team, Roger, if you can put the numbers together that quick, finding the mark too often. 2:06 first quarter.
No, you look at it, Marion 1 for 6 in the ball game, and the Pirates are 1 for 6 as well. So very cold shooting early on.
4-3. Renner gets some baseline. Just can't get it up. And of course, he knows what happened last time. But there's Regula. Can't lay it over the rim. Gets it back. First foul on Renner.
Great move, though. But you notice, Tim, how much more aggressive Garaway looks tonight than what they did the other night against Ross Southeastern. I mean, they're being very aggressive, taking it to the rim, just not getting the finish. And I'm not so sure that's not just nerves that need to kind of settle down.
Well, with the early foul on Renner, that was his second. And Coach Bardall needs quickly to rest him in a minute 47. Fortunately, one of the big men for the Spartans goes out, Sparling, but then, as we mentioned, they got Withrow at 6'5" coming right in. So Garaway now at a height disadvantage.
I haven't said that much this year, have we?
No, they usually battled on their own. 4-3, a minute 37 opening quarter baseline. A lot of movement there, no feet movement, but it's loose and Gerber brings it down the other way. Numbers favor the defense. Fanning, Ari Yoder back in there now, and Regula and Gerber. Nathan Miller with it for the 5 on the floor. Renner went to side court again, a minute 20 plus. First quarter, 4-3, very, very low scoring here. Of course, it was 16-16 with Garaway's halftime in the semifinal. Gerber playing like a big man.
Yeah, they got to have somebody step up.
6-3. Garaway, 56 seconds and counting. First quarter, you watch it on Channel 2. Final of the regional, Division III. Winner comes back, doesn't come back, goes to Columbus Thursday evening at 6.
Thursday at 6, yep.
40 seconds, not apparently playing for a last shot at all here.
Marion Platon doesn't look like they played too much slow down.
Well, that's the man off the bench we talked about. It's Withrow, and he draws the foul. He is built more wide than high, but he is 6'5".
Well, Garaway's seen enough of that. They've seen a lot of big guys in there that are just trees and hard to move out of there. That time Ari Yoder got him underneath.
I had Ari with the foul early that they obviously gave to Renner because the second foul caught us up.
Just mentioned to the folks, Tim, the winner of this game, as you said, plays 6 o'clock on Thursday. They play the winner of Archbold and Elyria Catholic coming out of the Bowling Green Regional.
29% is what this young man is shooting from the line. He makes 1 of 2, so he's improved that a bit. 6-4. Garaway could have the last chance at it. 27 seconds. First quarter. Fanning to Gerber near midcourt. As you look on from where we do, high atop. the Convocation Center. Good look at the Bobcat as Pirates now moving at 10 seconds. Ari Yoder at 8 seconds now. Miller. He might shoot it. Gerber might shoot it. Yoder shoots it. That does the first quarter. Garaway up 8-4 from Ohio University. Garaway gets the basketball to start the second quarter. Renner is back on the floor with 2 fouls. And Regula and Fanning and Gerber and Miller. Regula, who's not found the mark yet, but has gotten position a couple times, gets a foul call on the Spartans.
Interesting there, they take Gerber and they put him in the post, trying to get him to post up Jason Edler, who's 6'1", so they just kind of flip-flopped it and moved Regula out onto the perimeter.
Renner thought about the jumper, now gets it back, heavy traffic, but double teamed, and that's why it's deflected with Kuzio knocking away. This is Ridge down by 4, but neither team shot well yet, so that could change in a hurry. Renner tries to get it. Does after the missed shot by Withrow, who's in there to start the second quarter. Pirates push it, Gerber to the hoop. We talked about Ryan and what a difference he could make if he plays through 32 minutes the way he can play, and he needs to when the big men can't get the basketball.
Exactly, and he didn't shoot it well the other night, so it's good to see him come back tonight. Really got his A game with him as we see the matchup now.
10-4, inside they go again, turning and staying away. The big men of Garaway a little bit shy perhaps. They've been playing in foul trouble. Regula backed away, but Withrow couldn't hit it. Renner gets it.
Yeah, and Marion Pleasant's putting it right in there against him with the foul trouble, but they're not finishing.
Nice pass, Fanning to Regula. This time he finishes his first 2. It's 12-4 timeout. Garaway has that lead. 6:22, second quarter. As you look on, the Garaway fans come to their feet. And Pirates want to try to maintain momentum, but of course, Marion Pleasant wants to try to turn around. They know what a big lead is like and to lose it. They were up 12-2 in the semifinal and kind of played lethargically in the second quarter.
Yeah. And they're 1 for 11 from the field in this ball game, and they've missed a lot of easy shots inside. And you would think with the foul trouble that Garaway has here early on, they want to keep going to that, but they're just not sticking it in. And very simple, if you can't score, you can't win.
Marion Pleasant, by the way, saw that 12-2 lead turn to a 12-12 tie. So that's how fast things, of course, turn around in basketball. And we're seeing that. Some of the upsets in the NCAA this weekend. Leads late in the game mean nothing.
Well, and a big key right now for Garaway is Bennett's on the bench in foul trouble.
Kyle Ridge passes it into the corner, and at a 12-4 deficit, Marion Pleasant tries to get things turned around. Kuzio, averaging 11 points a game, has not scored. He's number 24. Of course, they only have 4 points, so that isn't saying too much at this point. Not too many have scored.
You know, you got to remember, too, Tim, last year in the regional finals, Garaway gets out to a great start, not to bring up any bad memories, but against Sardine Eastern Brown, then that kid went unconscious. So got to have the full 32-minute effort to lock this one up.
They had a 3-shooter, the likes of a Mr. Aiken, for instance, from West Holmes, that could zone in, and he did. Here's Ridge deep off the iron. Of course, we can check some numbers on the threes when we get a chance, but Garaway trying to take advantage as they look at it in this game, leading 12-4, and with the basketball again, Renner. Baseline, forcing the issue, picking up a foul on Sparling, his second.
The only number right now that matters for Marion Pleasant shooting from the 3 is this 0 for 5 that they've put up, and they take a lot of them, Tim, as we were kind of looking down through the numbers, but right now just not very hot.
Gerber gets a rest. So Ari Yoder, Fanning, Regula, Nathan Miller, and of course Renner, who drew the foul last time and looking like he's getting a little more active, looking for the ball. He has it.
Nice move there.
Working hard, gets his first basket at 4:57 first half, and it's 14-4. If you can get that lead without him.
Well, this is what this team's built to do. Get out in front and grind you to pieces And now that's what they'll do. Every offensive possession will be a test of courage for the Marion Pleasant defense. And defensively, somebody's going to have to step up or Garaway's just going to knock them right out.
Garaway fans looking for an even deeper lead. Renner with a long reach. We talked about his hands. Rogers mentioned it numerous occasions. There's not too much that gets away from him.
No, he's got great hands, super hands.
I'm going to have to see him on the baseball diamond to see if at pitching position he does the same. But the hands here belong, finally, to Edler. And on his second attempt, Ari Yoder in there to make sure it doesn't go easy the next time around. And in fact, it's still 14-4.
Marion Pleasant just flat out cold. I mean, they can't even make a breakaway layup. So, you know, what happens here is if you're Garaway, you got to take advantage of this as they are. You've got to spread that lead. Make them have to fight back from those large point spreads that we know is so tough to do in tournament time.
So 2 shots at the line, 4:09 first half, and that's the first point in the second quarter for Marion Pleasant.
They get Tyler Renner out again, so getting 4 minutes there in the second period, and he doesn't pick up the foul and get you a couple rebounds and a bucket.
Edler, as Marion Pleasant goes basically 7 deep, so the team's pretty even on that. Second one missed, Regula, a rebound for the Pirates. 14-5, 3:59, second quarter. Gerber just back, and Pirates looking to advance it inside. They've done that pretty regular. Gerber shot, too strong. Red and black all surrounding that time. Ridge, well drilled as we told you.
That's a nice take right there.
It's his second basket, 14-7. That quickly.
Cannot relax if you're Garaway. You still have to approach this like it's a tie ball game.
Miller, Regula. Pirates well drilled. Of course, we've seen them late in the games when they decide they don't want to play this close to the basket. They'll do this, pulling the defense out, staying away from the hoop. Gerber forces it. Pretty good look, really. And smart basketball by Yoder. Strong rebound, but double team. Really nowhere to go but bring it out.
Once again, one of your weak side rebounders getting you an offensive rebound.
Regula on a lot of traffic. Sees Yoder across the way, has an opening to the hoop, and it drops. Talk about off players again. Yoder with 4 points now.
Yeah, anytime you get guys like Ari Yoder, not an offensive threat usually, to be able to contribute like that, you are getting a big kick.
If you check Ari Yoder's box score, which he just as soon you didn't, and the coaches would too, but for all he contributes, but he didn't score in 2 of the last 3 tournament games. So he comes out big that way tonight, but always contributing.
And once again, it's that understanding of a young man like Ari Yoder, understanding his job isn't to shoot the basketball on this team. It's to do other things like D people up, as it looks like we've got Hilscher with some blood. They'll probably, yep, he got blood on the uniform, so actually he'll change numbers now.
So take note, we'll make a note on the scorebook that he's now wearing
number 40.
Does that take care of the stop and blood? That's the question.
Yeah, you don't know where he got it from. Maybe somebody else has got a cut. Looks like he might have a cut lip by the way he's dabbing the towel to his face there.
Something we never dealt with, of course, a few years back as things change on the court. 16-7, Yoder looking for a 3-point play. And cashes in. 17-7, back to a 10-point lead. Garaway held it at 14-4. Yoder gets a well-deserved rest, and Tyler Renner back on.
The matchup here has been creating a little bit of problems for Marion Pleasant. They're not real sure how to approach it.
Inside, they do get it. Not much contact. I actually thought Renner backed away, Roger. Didn't look like he even leaned into the guy. Withrow took it to him, and they called the third foul.
Well, the one thing we need to notice early on, and we always talk about how players need to adjust, but we've noticed they're calling it very, very tight in the post. You bump a guy, they're giving the call right up now, so it's going to be tough. You know, if they're going to call the game that way, you're going to have to just give up if you get beat.
110 feet or whatever we are from above the floor. There was no doubt that Tyler did slack off and didn't challenge him at all as with the ball part of the hand, but the body, that's where it was. 17-10, big three-point play. As it turns out for Withrow, here's Regula, can't get it to drop. And the Pirates gonna possibly see their lead dwindle a little bit more. We're down to 2:09, first half. That's the good thing with Renner on the bench. Coach Bardall pleaded his case, but to no avail. Regula pretty good. Pretty good defense, as I was gonna say, as Ari Yoder cleared it and was fouled. They're calling it pretty close, as you say, you adjust.
Yeah, you have to. And you got to tip your hat to Kirk Ballinger and Marion Pleasant. They understood Renner, 2 fouls. They know how good of a player he is. Let's keep attacking him, see if we can get him out of there. You know, maybe you don't like the call, maybe you do, whatever the case may be. Marion Pleasant with good execution.
Little half-court pressure from Ridge on Miller. Minute 51. Fanning finds an opening, pushes it down. Exactly what, again, we talk about guards doing. It's just that Regula was covered, so you bring him back.
Tell you what, the exact Fanning's going to be fun to watch for the next couple of years.
So Gerber is ready to flash it out to Regula on the side, call for the travel, and a second opportunity to bring this under a 7-point lead. 5th turnover for Garaway. Again, they played more turnovers in their semifinal game in the first half, more than this, and really toned it down second half. Good defense. Gerber knocks it away, so I guess you can call that a makeup. So often you foul when you do something like that right at the same end of the court if you lose it during action.
But you get a little taste there of the athleticism of Hilshire. To make a move like that at 6'6", that's a pretty nice player.
Ari Yoder. Pirates at a minute 4 really have drawn it out a little. Gerber gets it inside, Regula, block. Gonna have to put a little extra on the moves under the basket when that young man's around. Deflected, loose, going out of bounds, on the line, and a bump out.
Well, we went from, nickel dime city to now it's turned into a Pier 6 brawl.
17-10, that's the big issue for Garaway, as they've not relinquished any more of that lead, although Marion Pleasant's had a couple possessions at that score. Fanning a little trouble with the ball.
Marion Pleasant really extending their defense.
Well, they have.
And they got another one here.
And they'll get the ball back again. Third opportunity to cut this lead. Garaway going to have to be tested again on defense. Jason Edler comes back in to spell Jake Bennett for Coach Ballinger. Notice that Kyle Ridge, pretty much a intact player. He stays there. And they'll wind it down. 25 seconds to the half.
Big defensive stand here for Garaway. Get a stop here and you're okay. As you see now, they're going to switch Regula out onto Ridge. Of course, Regula, an excellent defensive player.
Ari Yoder on Kuzio. We're down to 9 seconds, but, Ridge can penetrate, so he's going to need some help on him if he drives. He's not going to drive. It's Kuzio for 3. On the rebound, it'll come to a standstill as the clock hits 0. Halftime at Ohio University. Garaway has had a 10-point lead, and it is 7 at halftime. 17-10, Garaway over Marion Pleasant. Garaway Pirates back out on the floor first. We'll get the basketball. Yoder, Gerber, Renner with 3 fouls, Regula with 2 fouls, and Nathan Miller, the 5. And appears the 5 that started for Marion Pleasant, Bennett, Ridge, Kuzio, Hilshire, and Sparling back to full strength. Both teams, Pirates up 7.
Yeah, a great defensive effort. First half, only give up 10 points.
Ari Yoder, who's had some success. Why spoil it? 2 more, and it's a 19-10 game. Garaway led by as many as 10 twice. Lead changed hands 4 times. Garaway's had an 8-point run to push the lead up. Oh, good defense by Gerber. Just couldn't quite pry it loose from Mr. Sparling's hand. Sparling, a familiar name and some relations up in the Tuscarawas County area.
Yeah, from what we've been told, his cousin is Jarrett Sparling of Newcomerstown. Excellent athlete, great quarterback, and had a nice year this year for Chad Little's basketball team.
Coach of Marion Pleasant mentioned Sparling's in the Garaway district, so might have misunderstood that just a little bit. But that's how we read it. Inside, they find Sparling, can't get it to drop, and Regula clears. Pirates trying to build a lead and get this thing a little safer. Renner. Good to see him score early in a half. 21-10, largest lead for Garaway.
I tell you, Marion Pleasant's in real danger of being knocked right out of here.
Pirates have not done that to any team since the sectional. Foul on the floor, as Ridge is a key player that can make things happen to turn this around for Marion Pleasant.
Unless they find somebody who can step up and make a shot, I mean, they're not doing very well.
They, of course, haven't been in this position for a while. Garaway has been in it 2 years in a row, and I think you get a little extra incentive coming back. You were involved with something like that, Roger, in the past, as far as teams getting a second chance. I mean, just your mindset's different. It may not get the results you want, but you're a little more focused.
Yeah, you're definitely a little more focused, but
still got to get over that.
Yeah, it can be a mental block. It really can, but it looks like the Pirates far from it.
Find the open man. Yoder back to Regula, knocked away. 6-17, and certainly Pirates can be a little controlled on things, which they normally are anyway. Gerber looks inside for Renner, can't find him, but he's a target. 6 minutes, third quarter, Garaway up 21-10.
Here's what we talked about grinding you. They're going to make you defend them for 45 seconds, you know, and you're down anyways.
Into traffic, give the long reach to Abe Sparling at 6'6". He knocked it away. Here's Ridge. Got to stop him as well. Miller floated the right way. But where was Jake Bennett? Wide open first basket's 21-12.
That's the first field goal they've had in a long time.
5:29, third quarter. That was their first 2 of the second half. Tipped away again. This time, Hilscher overplays from the backside. And a little run as Kyle Ridge converts, and it's 21-14.
Well, you see 2 turnovers, Tim, lead to transition buckets, and that's the one thing Garaway had been doing a nice job of. When they were forcing Marion Pleasant into the half-court game, they weren't getting anything.
Coach Bardall pleading something. Might have been, those contacts from reaching from behind in the first half brought fouls. Here's Renner. Too strong on the rebound, and another chance for a 6-point run for Cusio. And the Spartans, they have not had a 6-point run in this game. I'll try to make it a 7-point run. Over the top, tip, no good. Renner had pretty good position, and he in fact did have position. Foul goes to Sparling. He now has 3. Big guys battling pretty tough on the boards, and you're just not sure how they're going to call it each time.
Yeah, well, that's not a very smart foul from Sparling there. You know he's going to get that called over the top. The thing right now is if you're Garaway, you got a 7-point lead. Marion Pleasant taking all these threes. You want to try to extend it a little bit, because if somebody would happen to catch fire, like we saw Nathan Miller did the other night, now all of a sudden you're in a knuckle locker, and you don't want that.
Garaway not with the best passes in the last minute and a half. And since they know they're trying to push it in there, the anticipation level's a little higher. This is a deep 3. Garaway had the position, and over the back, Withrow wanted the call. He could have just as easy had a foul called, as again, he reached, and the Pirates will bring it down. But coming up empty, about 4 in a row here?
Yeah, and Kirk Ballinger was not happy with that shot. They were having such success working it around a little bit, and now Scott Bardall says, let's talk about it.
4:05, third quarter, Garaway up 21-14.
Are you looking for new?
Ohio University's the site. This is the Division III regional final for the year 2002-2003. 21-14, Garaway used its timeout. Coach Bartle still not done. He's out there on the floor. Final instruction, couldn't get it all in a minute.
Hey, you know, even though Garaway wins, we still got another game, but I think here as we approach the end of the run, we got to say thank you to the man who's been paying the bills, Tim Torelli, all the coverage that he took on for TV2 this year.
Transition year to get things over to Torelli Video, and
didn't miss a game. Did not miss a game on the tournament trail. He had 42 people out at night covering games.
I think so. 21-14. Garaway used the timeout, certainly to talk about whether we're going to force any passes inside if we don't have to, or how we're going to make sure you're open if we throw it to you inside. Gerber to Nathan Miller, weaving it in more, closer. Too much action from behind. Was tied up good from the front side, but the backside saw Withrow kind of get him into that tie-up situation. I guess that's how they see it.
Well, it's tough for that baseline official to see what's going on top, so he sees a little push from behind and calls it.
Nathan Miller for a three off the rim. In their lane, and Regula contested for it. Tipped away from it. Down come the Spartans as Hilscher wound up with it. 21-14 is still trying to put a longer run together. This is the young man took the long three. Oh, good position, too much spin. Renner's thankful as he wasn't going to challenge Kuzio that much. Got the rebound.
This team just can't throw it in the ocean right now.
Pirates need to take advantage. They could have a 20-point lead by now. They had turnovers that cost them 3 or 4 shots. And there's another one. Just not taking care of the basketball and ahead of the pack.
Oh, the big boy getting out running the floor.
Withrow scores. It's 21-16, and this lets the fans from Marion Pleasant back in the door. They've been quiet.
That's going to be Bennett's third.
Comes at 2:46, third quarter. 2 of the Spartans now with 3 fouls. It's 21-16 now that the Spartans have put 6 points together. Remember, they led 12-2, so they put a bunch of points together in the first quarter against Chesapeake in the semifinal. Almost another steal, contact there. Now it's just a matter when they start to call these things. Gerber to Regula has been quiet.
Pleasant's defensive intensity has increased tenfold. I mean, they are out in the passing lane now, and man, if you're weak with the ball, they're coming after you.
Gerber hits the floor, nothing there. Again, it's what good steal by the quick hands of Ridge. Almost got it to drop. Nathan Miller takes the foul. Thought he might have been backing up with his hand on the ball, but 9 times out of 10, that's going to draw a foul.
Hank Iba, one of the best big man coaches in the country for years and years, always said, if you don't have good guards, your big men are useless. And right now, the big men for Garaway can't do anything because the guards are having a serious problem getting them the basketball.
Kyle Ridge makes it a 7-point run. One more will equal Garaway's largest output in one spurt as it's 21-17. Climbing right back in this. 21-18. You expect teams with 21 or 23 and 2 records to be able to do that, but Roger told you about the shooting woes. Now it's the turnover woes of Garaway that's given the impetus.
Well, if you're pleasant and you look down and say, man, we have shot it as terrible as we have all year and we're only down 3 as we get Withrow with another block, but you say, hey, we shoot it this bad only down 3 with 9-10 minutes left to go in the game, we're okay, we're right there. And that's why I was saying Garaway had a chance to kind of elongate the lead and couldn't do it.
One thing Garaway, of course, keeping in mind is they do play tremendous defense, so the other team's going to keep having to work.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing about basketball, Tim, is you have to have a good offense, at times, as we see almost another turnover. Football, you don't need a great offense if you've got a great defense. Basketball, you have to have some offensive ability.
Now, with the overplaying that they obviously are doing, there's got to be something that Garaway can take advantage of.
Well, number one, you got to square up, be strong with the basketball, which I'm sure Scott's going to reiterate here between quarters. But bring your offense up high like they are right here, run some high-low stuff and get some backdoor and see what comes out of it.
Minute 32, Regula. Gerber from outside, misses, and Withrow clears it. Chance to draw closer, 21-18. This could be a tie game depending on what kind of shot Marion Pleasant elects to take. 23-2. And they beat one of those teams in the tournament that they lost to during the season. Ridge.
Mr. Ridge is kind of taking over.
6 points in the quarter. It's a 1-point game at 21-20. Garaway was up 21-10. Well, that would have been a good one for Tyler, but he quickly was double-teamed, and they hedged that way. That's why he's been not a good target to take the ball to on a pass. We're down to 35 seconds. Pirates certainly have been in this position in the tournaments a couple of times and come up with scores in this position to get themselves in the right direction for the fourth quarter. 24 seconds to go in the period.
Just like Wednesday night, Tim, somebody's got to step up in blue. That's the long and the sweet of it.
16, Gerber at 14, Nathan Miller at 12.
Got a little 1-4 baseline here, probably bring Gerber off a double.
6 seconds. There's Gerber. Tipped away. Renner. End of quarter. Garaway up 23-20, fourth quarter at hand. Good look at Marion Pleasant. Spartan bench, Kirk Ballinger, the coach. 4 years there, but 13 years overall. 209.76. He's put a few wins up. Coach Bardo wants to put another win up as a long Ridge shot. He took one earlier. You could almost call that a jump ball as they both went for it. They're going to give it back to the Spartans.
I think the Pirates a little confused there. Half of the team was playing man, the other half was matchup. Ridge gets all alone out on the perimeter.
Ridge, good pass. Double team, found Withrow in a crowd, and we're back to a 1-point game to start the third quarter, 23-21.
Guards got a little bit tentative in that third period for Garaway. Got to pick it up now. Don't be afraid to penetrate.
Make it 23-22. It is a 1-point game. Ari Yoder, this is the starting lineup for the Pirates. Yoder, who's been big in the game. Oh, gets it to Renner.
Nice pass, nice pass.
They collapsed on him. He has points in the game, and he could find Renner open. It's, again, a 3-point game at 25-22. We'll check what happened in the third quarter as far as numbers go. Obviously, Marion Pleasant turned some things around. Ridge, baseline right. Big rebound for Regula on the Pirates, 6:57. Not where they want to control it yet, but they will, given the opportunity.
Garaway just wants to continue. You got to be strong, be aggressive when need be. Being aggressive doesn't mean you just come down and crank it up. If a guy's going to challenge you, you've got to back him off.
2 fouls to give for Marion Pleasant before Garaway goes to the line. Garaway with 4 fouls to give, so they don't want to be playing behind at all in the fourth quarter. Renner offs to Gerber. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line with a chance for a 3-point play. First points for Ryan since the second quarter.
Yeah, does a nice job once again, the weak side.
27-22.
At the strike with the bonus, Ryan Gerber.
Third foul on Withrow. First foul shot in the second half for Garaway, and it's 28-22.
They're back in the matchup now, so let's see what Pleasant does.
They go to Withrow. Big men are there. Regula took the foul and picks up his third with 6:16 to go.
Pleasant runs their own little version of the high-low there. Same thing we saw on the other end.
Long way to go if you just joined us. Garaway has led a lot of time in this one by 10 a couple times. Marion Pleasant came right back. Well, we told you Withrow, according to the sheet, 29%. And if Garaway has any privy to that information, certainly you want to take a sure basket away from him. That paid off. Timeout. Ari Yoder calls it at 6:13. Fourth quarter, 28-22. Garaway by 6 as Coach Bardall, kind of his assistants, Greg Lauer, Dave Shutt, Brian Gibson, and of course Glenn Lorenz was one of the staff that passed away suddenly this year, and part of this season, all of it I would say, the players said so, dedicated to him from that point on. As Garaway, smart timeout, still have timeouts remaining, and a 6-point lead, if they can cash in here, looks big with the foul shots missed.
Oh, most definitely, and you see coming out, they go back to their bread and butter, and their guards got a little bit better, got it into the post, and people keep moving. One thing about this Garaway team is they're very unselfish. They find the open man, and that's how they get so many easy buckets, and we're seeing that here in this fourth quarter.
Roger, Marion Pleasant with 3 players averaging double figures. Cusio hasn't even scored. He averages 11, and Hilscher doesn't have a field goal. 1 foul shot. He averages 13. How big is that when you see Ridge with double figures?
Well, you look at it, I think Marion Pleasant is in awe of Garaway's defense.
There's those sure hands, but just too deep. Well conceived. Just missing Regula with the pass. 5:54 quiet crowds on both sides right now. Marion Pleasant trying to counter. Hilscher, Ridge, Bennett with 3 fouls taken away by Ari. Make it Gerber. Now Nathan Miller will try to bring it against Ridge.
Brian Gerber playing an outstanding ball game tonight.
The junior for the Pirates. Ari Yoder played last year. One of the seniors. Regula, another, and Renner. And we mentioned Brian Lash on the bench would be helping out if he could. Renner needs help, 5:06. Coach Bardell said he would not play the same way as he did last year, which was they played a little longer attacking the basket, gave the chance for those 3-point shots. But of course you got to take care of it and still score when you can if you do this. Gerber. That time he kept his feet planted, waited for the defense, see what he was going to do, and took it up and in.
I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but I would be very surprised if Marion Pleasant came back from this 8-point deficit.
30-22. Obviously every possession key for them at 4:33 to go in the game. And eating up some time is what Garaway's defense always wants the other offense to do. Ridge banging around and finally getting the shot off, but Ari Yoder stuck with him pretty good.
You know, when you look at Marion Pleasant, we were reading all these stats, Tim, and thought, well, they got some guys who can put it in the hole, but the only guy who's shown any ability to create his own shot, well, that's not a bad move.
Not at all. Where's it been? Jordan Hilscher gets an opportunity. Second field goal for them in the quarter.
I think Kirk Ballinger wants to know where it's been. I mean, that's a great move.
30-24, 6-point lead, half a quarter to go. Renner, double team. Still a foul to give for Marion Pleasant.
I'm not so sure all this coach speak that Coach Ballinger and the respect he was showing Garaway hasn't maybe backfired on him a little bit, that maybe gave his team a false sense of security as Garaway turns it over there.
Regula thought he had the base. Coach Bardall thought he put it on the floor. Wonders why the call comes from the far official, but try to fire up his defense. Up by 6, 3:40 to go. Ridge wants to drive the lane if he can, and he again will try to spark the team any way he can, which he's done well in the second half. Timeout. Marion Pleasant down to 3:28, 30-24. Garaway leads. Garaway 30, Marion Pleasant 24. As Marion playing from the Mid-Ohio Athletic Conference. Of course, Garaway with 2 back-to-back undefeated seasons, 35 in a row in the IVC. But the Pirates You don't trade all that for this. That's all part of it. Look at the shot, kind of forced. I don't know if he was going to walk or what. Kuzio remains scoreless, and the Pirates the ball. 3-12, 6-point lead.
Kuzio 0 for 7 from the field tonight.
Ari Yoder, how big has he played? May not be done either. Well, he has been key. That's the overplaying that we have seen. Gerber, Pirates content now to eat up time and look for a bad mistake let down in defense. They overplay enough, you'll have it. And you see Tyler Renner pretty well manhandled inside. Gerber in trouble. Regular. There's the foul over the back. Sparling. Not so sure that is the same type of thing that got him the ball earlier. But this time Renner moving a little bit away. You got to move a little bit to the ball even when you're a big guy.
Yeah, good point, Tim. Coming to meet the basketball, especially here late in the game. Come meet the ball, everybody.
4th foul on Sparling. 6th team foul. So the Pirates now will go to the line. And Marion Pleasant going to have to face that reality. And Garaway going to have to hit some fouls. Renner, missed by Ari Yoder, goes back after it. And then Renner, just strength, got the basketball back.
Well, Tyler, Tyler does. Sometimes you look at it and think, well, he didn't score much tonight, but man, he is the glue with this team. He comes up with big rebounds, big defensive plays. He's a calming influence.
Outstanding assist. Yoder just got a real good pressure in a hurry. Didn't get it to drop, but there's a case you just don't give up on it. Renner now converts the first foul shot, 31-24, 32-24. 8-point lead again. Pirate fans like to see it get back to double digits. Ridge for 3. Oh, and he misses the wall almost. And Regular gets it. Pirates up by 8-11. And the way they've hung on to the ball when they haven't tried to force it in the last 3 games.
2 minutes.
Fans are not overconfident, but feeling pretty good. 2 minutes and we're counting.
No, I think they're apprehensive is more the word right now. They're just hoping they're seeing what they're seeing.
Renner, bounce pass, Gerber. 10-point lead. Almost can hear the crowd with a different kind of roar. 34-24, quickly answered. Sparling's first basket.
Yeah,
it's been active. The big guys just haven't done it.
Pleasant going to have to start giving up fouls now if they want to.
34-26. A minute 17 away from a state berth for the first time in the Garaway history, and they're going to play keep away, and evidently Marion not going to foul. There they do.
I don't know what they're waiting on there.
Minute 5.
They let a good, 30 seconds run off that clock before they fouled. I mean, maybe they've conceded defeat here, but.
Coach Bardolph, some instructions for Nathan Miller as Ryan Gerber to the line. And the Pirates have been very steady at the foul line in the tournaments.
Oh, yeah, well, they have missed tonight.
35-26.
See, I can't even jinx him, Tim.
Timeout, a minute 5 to go, 36-26. Garaway by 10. Garaway, Roger, as I was talking to scorekeeper Yakeley from the Pirates, he was on the first Garaway team. 1958-59, halfway through the year, it officially became Garaway. So the game after the first of the year, when Garaway beat Baltic, the headline read, Garaway beats Baltic, and Yakeley said, I read the paper and I said, who's Garaway? He kind of took even the kids at the school some moments to remember that they had changed their name. They had voted to keep the Pirate name. They had voted on Columbia Blue, and it all started. That blue thing's been a controversy over the years, but that's how long it's been since it's been a Garaway. It's been since 1932, since Sugar Creek Shanesville went to the state tournament. That was their only trip. So history all around us here. And of course the Tuscarawas County team to the state tournament is always a pleasure, Strasburg being their last. a couple of seasons back. Gonna try to save some time. There's no count anymore.
No, it stops now once the ball is inbounded. It stops.
Minute 3. Ridge gonna take a 3. He's not hit one yet. Regular clears. Just not to be for Marion Pleasant. Ahead of the pack is Renner. 53 seconds.
Remember the old Monday Night Football, Dandy Don Meredith? Turn off the lights, the party's over.
Garaway 24-1. We lost that one team in West Holmes this week in the Regional Division 2. Roger mentioned the team that beat them got beat by Columbus.
Yeah, Beechcroft won Division 2 regional today.
Ryan Gerber perfect at the line still. And still 38-26.
I got good news for you people out in Sugar Creek. You're going to the state tournaments, folks. Have a nice time.
Guzio misses the shot from deep, 44.6 seconds, but that's not enough in this one.
Shanesville drive-thru, Tim, better order up extra surplus because the coolers will be packed. The bus will be headed down the road, down to Columbus.
Stay with us. We will be on the floor after the game to talk to a few people that will take the time to share their excitement. And I think it just hasn't quite hit them yet, but it will soon.
And you also don't want the excitement and the relief of getting there to make you feel like you've accomplished everything. You want to still have that drive to get down there and win it.
Regular with just 3 points, but all of them important in all his floor game. Garaway will play in the Value City Arena at the Schottenstein Center again Thursday night.
6 bells.
And they remain perfect at the line. 40-26, another opponent held under 30 points. Ari Yoder, big game. 5 points in the first half. And taken away. 37 seconds. Regula to Renner. And Marion Pleasant just going to play good defense now. 30 seconds. There's no way they'll make up the 14 points, and I don't think they'll foul. And I don't think Garaway will try to score.
You think there'll be a party on the hill tonight?
Just might be some excitement on the Holmes County, Tuscarawas County line. Coach Bardall. Watching the clock tick down. 5 seconds. 4, 3. Game.
Big victory, folks.
40, 26. 6 points in the fourth quarter for Marion Pleasant. Garaway team has to celebrate a little bit, but now will meet their opponent. And I guess the words of Coach Ballinger might have been in his head.
Well, good too to see that the celebration isn't absolute chaos, because that tells me Garaway understands there's still work to be done. You got to understand, Tim, sometimes teams get to state, that's the best they can accomplish. This team can win state.
And important that Brian Lash right there in the warm-up at the end of the Garaway line. You saw him just a moment ago there. The last one on the Garaway line right there. 32, able to be here, be a part of this, although not able to play. As the Garaway fans share in the accomplishment of this team that has gotten past last year's block point to this win at 40-26. We'll have awards at courtside when we return to Ohio University to enjoy more of the Garaway win. Back at Ohio University, where, as they just announced, and the players go over to enjoy the fans along the end court. Garaway fans giving them low fives in this case, high fives from the players. And the nets belong to the Pirates, as they mentioned, with a championship plaque collected here at Ohio University. Roger, as I get some numbers together, a comment or two.
Well, I mean, to me, this is what it's all about. I mean, you work your tail off. You deal with adversity. The team loses a great leader and a great mentor during the season, and it's an excuse to allow you to stop from achieving your goals. They didn't let it happen. And then, of course, as you said, Brian Lash, very serious accident. They really didn't know how that was going to come out. Once again, another opportunity for them to make excuses, and they didn't do it. And I think you have to tip your hat to Scott Bardall, his staff, Greg Lauer, man, I've got a lot of respect for. He does a great job. And I think you've got to tip your hat to these seniors. They came down here last year and they tasted this, and they also tasted the defeat of it all. So they knew, and they were big-time leaders this year. Like I said all season long, John Regula plays for any other team in the area. He could average 20 a game. Same thing with Ryan Gerber, but they give up themselves because they want to be successful as a group, and they have definitely done that tonight.
Roger, I'm going to let you do some figuring here and doing some stuff and call for the break when you need to. We're going to get down to the floor, make sure we can talk to some of these young men and to the coach. And we'll just get in more on the celebration, and you take it from here.
Thank you, Tim. And as we said, a great crowd here from Sugar Creek. The folks here and traveled a long way, have been traveling and follow this team, and a lot of these young men have been playing together since pity ball. So sometimes it's just better if we shut up and just let you kind of look at the pictures and enjoy the exhilaration. There's a little bit of "We Are the Champions" play in the background for the Garaway Pirates. Take a look there at John Regula, who's up cutting the nets down. Of course, young man there with him, and that's something that young man will remember for the rest of his life. That is for sure. Division III Regional Championship for the Garaway Pirates. Some of the other guys who don't get a lot of playing time in the game, you see there in the picture, but still, as Scott Bardall talked about after the big district win against Fort Fry, the important role they play every day in practice, showing what the other team's going to do so the varsity can get used to it, and they've done an outstanding job as well. That young man right there played a whale of a ball game today, Ryan Gerber. Outstanding basketball game. Of course, I want to remind you folks, as we said, Thursday evening, 6 o'clock down at the Shot. Garaway will be the first Division III game of the tournament. Division IV is first this year, then 3, then 2, then 1. So 6 o'clock Thursday. As we said, Archibald's playing Elyria Catholic up at Bowling Green, and they will play the winner of that game. That game was also at 7:30 on Saturday evening, so by the time you're watching this, should know who Garaway's playing. Contact, I would guess, Kevin Keffer at the school on Monday, be able to start buying tickets. And of course, TV2 will be right there on Thursday to bring you that game on tape delay once again. Just remind you folks, the finals, TV2 will not cover the final game because ONN will cover them live on Saturday. This would be the second game on Saturday for the finals. The Division III finals is the second game, which means that would be 2 o'clock on Saturday. ONN, Channel 72, will have it live for you, as that man deserves probably a little bit of net and maybe some from the other end as well. Coaches here will get a chance, and of course you fans of Garaway, remember this doesn't happen every year, so get a hold of Tim Torelli, get all this put on DVD for you, especially parents of these young men. This is something they'll never forget and they'll be able to show their children as Greg Lauer there gets a piece of the net, and the man who built the program. Done a great job with it, has Scott Bardall, and he's done it in a very classy manner. And I guarantee you folks, as much as he's enjoying this, you can bet in the back of his mind he is thinking about the game on Thursday.
Excuse me. We're out for some interviews.
We're going to take a quick timeout here as we get Tim Stavanis down there on the floor to talk with the players and the coaches. We'll be right back from Ohio U, where the Garaway Pirates have won the Division III Regional, and they head on to Columbus to play in the state.